Louisiana Cajuns, the Ragin Cajuns, 10-3 on the season, will now face the MAC champion Miami of Ohio in the Lending Tree Bowl over in Mobile, Alabama. Tough one for the Cajuns as they rallied late but fell to App State 45-38 in the Sun Belt title game. That was a loss that ended a 6-game winning streak for Coach Napier and the Cajuns. Each Tuesday, Coach Napier checks in with us from down in Lafayette here on Off the Bench. Coach Nape, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How we doing today?
Doing good, man. How do you guys navigate this part of the schedule now with the new rules? I know it's been a little bit for you, so you've had a time to get adjusted, but in between bowl prep, in between dealing with your team, and now with National Signing Day, the early part of National Signing Day tomorrow, how do you handle the schedule?
Well, it's been easy compared to maybe that quick turnaround you have when you play in the early bowl game. You know, our guys had the week off last week, finished really strong in the classroom, final exams. We did lift them a couple times last week. We had really good official visit weekend this past weekend, had about 14 young men and their families in here. And then we've kind of turned the page. You know, we started practice back again yesterday. So we're going to practice 4 days this week, and then, you know, take a little bit of a break for Christmas and then come back and kind of turn the page to the opponent in the bowl game. So it's really allowed us to compartmentalize everything and kind of break it down. It's been really good. We great energy yesterday. I think our guys are excited about the opportunity to play a really good team in the bowl game and, you know, try to finish this thing the right way.
Coach, something that I always think about outside looking in is when you're at a major school like in Alabama versus like a school like a UL, which is just a little smaller in size. What are the differences in recruiting? Like if you don't maybe have the amount of resources or maybe you don't have this or that, like how does recruiting, how does it differ at UL versus maybe some of the biggest schools that you've been in the past?
Well, I think the maybe the timeline is a little bit pushed back for us. You know, I think we're very thorough. You know, I think we do a really thorough job of evaluating. You know, we start inside out. We start with this state, and then we move to the nearby surrounding areas that border the state. We can kind of let the dust settle. You know, I mean, we don't necessarily have to get out there and chase the sophomore and the junior around. Our guys do a really good job of getting a lot of information. We're getting ready to start our evaluation process of the 2021 class here pretty soon. And then, you know, during the spring semester, you know, we kind of sort through who's got what offers and who is a fit for the Cajuns, you know, in terms of what we're looking for. But I'll be honest with you, there's not a lot of difference outside of that. You know, we've got you know, in terms of how we do it. You know, I've worked with some really good people. I think we've got a great evaluation system, and then certainly the way we format our recruiting plan and evaluation plan, very similar to some of those places we've been in the past. So, you know, we're going to sign 17 or 18 players Wednesday, and, you know, we'll have 1 or 2 spots left for the remaining group that's left to evaluate, whether that's the 10% that's left over or guys that are in the transfer portal. So, you know, I think it's we just taken the same blueprint and applied it to this situation, this circumstance, and we've gotten better and better at it. You know, I think we've signed 2 really good classes, and I think this one we're going to sign Wednesday may be our best yet.
And so when it comes to being successful at recruiting, obviously, like you said, there's a process there. Is if you had to try to maybe like highlight, like, okay, this is, I think, the most important thing that a coach needs. Outside looking in, it feels like almost just raw volume of effort. Just as a harder you grind, it pays off. Is that accurate, or what's your experience been like?
Well, I'll tell you, over the years, I think discipline, diligence, you know, you got to do a little bit every day. I think there's an element of you got to have some awareness about who is a good player, who's a good fit. You know, are you chasing ghosts sometimes? You know, I mean, you got to be realistic a little bit about the recruitability of a guy. And then I think getting in there and really developing a relationship is very, very important. You know, people skills. I think honest, straightforward, consistent is key. You know, I think the more opportunities you get, the better. That's the great thing about this job is, you know, there's hundreds of players around you, so you get a lot of opportunities, you know, to show them your plan, to spend time with them and their families. But over the years, I think just discipline, diligence, the ability to tell who you can get, the ability to evaluate who's a good player, who's not a good player, kind of sort through that and find the guys that are a right fit for your program. And then ultimately you got to build a relationship and have the people skills to do that. Be consistent, honest, straightforward, and fair. And, you know, I think we've done it well, partly because I think we've got a lot of guys that kind of do it that way.
What's the advantage of bowl preparation as far as your roster development goes?
Well, you got less dead time. You know, it certainly, if we weren't playing in a bowl game, our guys would have their feet propped up and be at home right now. You know, so, you know, you get additional work. You know, you get additional football time. You get skill development. You get to acquire more knowledge. You get to develop the bottom half of your roster. Certainly, they stay in better condition because you continue to run and lift. You know, and I think you create opportunities for more morale, better relationships, and certainly if you can find a way to win, it creates momentum for the future. So there's tons of positives. You know, we're fortunate this year that we play later. You know, it's going to give us a lot of opportunities to spend time with our team and develop our team. So we're excited about being bowl eligible again this year and having an opportunity to play in Mobile. You know, and hopefully we can find a way to win this one and create some momentum for next year.
Bowl eligible again this year. 10 wins, first time in school history. Coach Napier, you've done some really impressive things at UL in a short amount of time. And because of that, during this recent silly season, your name was popping up with jobs and maybe being people being interested in you and everything. As a young head coach, can you kind of take us through what that was like seeing that for the first time where you know, people talking about, well, maybe he's the guy for this or this other job. What was it like experiencing that?
Well, it's humbling. You know, I mean, I think anytime you have success in the sport of football, I think we all understand that there's tons of people that contribute to that. You know, there's hundreds of people involved in college football, and it's a great dynamic. It's one that I love, certainly the leadership challenge that goes with that. The ability to affect other people, to make an impact. You know, and when you get recognized, when you accomplish some things that are significant and your name's out there, I think we all know that's the result of a lot of people working really hard. We've got a great team here, you know, not only the players that we've assembled, but also our entire organization, you know, our coaching staff, our support staff. You know, there's just so many people that affect how well your team performs and the success that you have. So it's humbling to me and certainly, you know, something that I take seriously. And I think, you know, there's going to be opportunities in the future. It's going to continue to be that way as long as you have success.
January 6th in Mobile, Alabama, Coach and the Cajuns will take on Miami of Ohio as they are bowl eligible once again. 10 wins as the Cajuns take off from Mobile for that matchup coming up in Mobile for the Lending Tree Bowl. Coach, thanks as always. Good luck, and we'll talk to you soon.